Hello everyone, welcome to today's stream. So, yeah, I've been sick with COVID the past few weeks, so that's why I haven't been streaming at all. Yeah, I feel a bit better now, feel good enough to try taking a look at the Monster Train DLC. So as you can see here on the screen, we've unlocked the Wormkin, resurrect the reclusive Wormkin. These keepers of Titan lore and history bring the power they've stored over millennia of dedicated study and isolation. Hell yeah! So yeah, with the Last Divinity DLC, then we can disable or enable here at the top. Have come a couple of balance changes as well. I want to take a short look at these. Impsicle can now give queens implings. Additionally, the chances of getting Imp Scholar and Transcend Imp were increased slightly. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Probably not a huge difference to Impsicle. It's still gonna be a very good relic to build around. Getting more Imp Scholars and Transcend Imps is obviously quite a buff. Getting Queen's Implings is slightly weaker than most other imps. But yeah, all in all, still a good relic. We have Cursed Vines, which instead of rearranging enemies automatically gives you a Vine Grasp with Purge every turn, as far as I know, to rearrange the enemies as they see fit. This is an extremely strong relic now. Vine Grasp is a solid card and getting one every turn is just extremely powerful. Let's take a look if that is really how it works. At the start of turn, add a Vine Grasp spell with Purge to your hand. Not only can you use that to rearrange enemies, you can use it to take out weaker backliners. You can use it to take out collectors, at least until ring 7. Where they will have too much health to die to a single Vine Grasp. But yeah, just a great relic now. Hammer Chestplates now grant 5 health instead of 3. That is a nice buff, not too relevant. The relic basically performs the same function, it just does a little bit better now. Homebreaker Prince Reaper path and all 3 Tethys paths gained a little bit more health to reduce the occurrence of backline champion death. Let's take a look at these numbers. 6, 12, 24. That's very significant. That helps deal with sweep, with spikes quite a bit. It's not quite as tanky as the brawler with the armor, but it's close. Pretty decent. Let's look at Tethys. Tethys has 4, 5, 6 on Chillwind. Used to be 3, 3, 3. That doesn't make a huge difference. Conduit 5, 7, 9. I think that used... Was that changed? Handheld Totem 6, 9, 12. Well, the Tethys numbers are still so low that the added sweep and spikes units are probably more of a threat to her than beforehand. But still, some health is better than none. Cultivating Sentience card draw bonus no longer grows bigger at levels 2 and 3. We're pleased so many players are enjoying the recent changes to Cultivating Sentient, but she's grown just a little too reliable at winning. This small tweak back down in power should trim her head just a little and bring her in line with other monster trained champions. Yeah. Cultivating Sentient with draw 2, draw 3 each turn was quite strong. I wonder if it's worth to actually get more cultivating. It might still be because the cultivate is still around. And that one is quite a significant ability. And also the health gain is pretty huge. So it might still be worth going deeper into this path, but it won't be a no-brainer. Tethys' handheld totem path now deals more damage at level 2 and 3. Tethys is a unique champion many players enjoy, but higher levels of her handheld totem path have struggled to keep up with other options. We increased attack to make it more rewarding to stay on her spell weakness path instead of branching out. That can be quite significant. Because she does have sweep. Used to be... I don't think it stayed at 5. I think it grew slightly, like 5, 7, 9 or something. But it was certainly not too exciting. Or did it just stay at 5? Maybe it just stayed at 5. It might actually. Anyways... that is significant. The increase in sweep damage can make a difference. Though it's not her main feature, of course, but it helps. Little Fate's Eternal Flame path has had its attack bonus reduced, but it no longer increases her ember cost each time she dies. This will allow the pint-sized Eternal Flame to eternally be playable regardless of your ember generation. Also added quick. That sounds pretty crazy. Let's have a look at the actual numbers. $20, $40, $60. I think it always started at 20, right? This one was 100 or something. It was a crazy amount. Okay, that is interesting. I like it. Beforehand, it was mostly... She was growing very quickly, but you had to be careful not to overdo it. Now, you just want her to die every turn. Let her attack with quick and then let her die afterwards. That's often the ideal. Although you still lose a card draw every time. And then we have the non-champion changes. There are a lot of these. Yeah, let's go through them anyways. Hellhound had Horned Warrior, Steelworker, Railbeater, Fletchling Imp, Hornbreak, Imp in a Box changed. They got a little bit stronger. Important Work was toned down slightly. That makes sense. Important Work was very strong. Horned Warrior is now 15-5 instead of a 34. Horned Warrior is now a 15-5 instead of a 34, but has game multi-strike. That makes a huge difference. Is now much, much stronger. A very decent backliner unit instead of just bad, pretty much. Having multi-strike by base makes a big difference. Hi Maxwell, welcome. Glad to see you. Steelworker now affects all friendly units. Railbeater now inflicts melee weakness instead of push. Fletchling Imp Rage 3 to 5. Hornbreak hits twice. Imp in a Box got the same changes as Impsicle and Important Work. Amber gain 2 to 1. Let's take a look at these. Hi Icy, glad to have you here. So, Fledgling Imp applying 5 rage. Nice buff. Not the most relevant, but you are often gonna play Fledgling Imp a lot and gain quite a bit of rage over time. And you also lose some rage every turn, so the actual amount of rage you will end up on any given turn. Like if you play one Fledgling Imp every turn, you will gain 4 rage a turn now, 2 rage a turn back with the old one, so it's basically doubled. That makes a big difference. On lunch break, pretending work doesn't exist. Yeah, that's not a bad way to approach breaks. Same but cool. Glad you decided to spend your break time with me. Makes me quite happy. Steelwalker, apply armor 5 to all friendly units. Certainly an interesting change. Makes Steelwalker much better as anything but a frontliner. And makes it better in being a frontliner as well. But yeah, I want to see how this plays. Econ teacher is literally, hey, I'm going to pause what we are doing on the dock. You can sign off now. Make sure to get it done before next class. Okay, it's nice. Railbeater. Strike. Apply melee weakness 1 to the attack unit. The old Railbeater was pretty hard to use. This one is very promising. Just applying melee weakness on Strike? Wow. Hit them with the Railbeater and then the backliner it hits real hard. I like it. Very interesting. Not sure if that's the strongest of units you can get, but definitely much more interesting now. Hornbreak, deal 5 damage twice. I'm not sure if this is such a big change, but it certainly carries spell damage upgrades better. So it does make a significant difference. It also doesn't need a spell damage upgrade to deal with the soul purifiers now. The highest level of the Scorch adding enemy. Which is nice. But it will obviously need spell damage upgrade to deal with certain types of shard buffed enemies. So yeah. An important work got the Amber gain reduced from 2 to 1, which I can understand. It was a strong card. I'm not even sure if that is a huge power reduction, but it certainly is something. Then over in Awoken territory, Thorned Hollow gain more attack, but I need to pay a little more Ember for Invigorating Solution, Unleash the Wildwood, and cards drawn from Awoken Rail Spike. So Unleash, Invigorating, and Rail Spike were changed for the Awoken. So we have Unleash the Wildwood at 1 mana. Yes, makes sense. It was a strong card at 0 mana. It is still a strong card at 1 mana if you need that kind of effect. It's pretty niche, but still pretty powerful. Invigorating Solution costing 1 makes sense as well. Yeah, exactly. Hornbreak can still only kill 1 target. It hits the same target twice. So it's basically just doing a bit more base damage, but it also scales better with magic power. It's the main change there. It had Pierce, so it always penetrated like damage shields or spell shields, so you can't take off 2 of those with the double hit. That's not the purpose there, but it's just more damage. And Awoken Rail Spike is now -1 cost to the cards drawn. Makes sense. Yeah, that's the nerf for awoken rail spike was coming a long time, and I like the way it was done. And Thorn Hollow was changed to have slightly higher base attack. Not the most impactful change, but it brings them in. It brings the two hollows in line, which makes sense flavorfully, I think, from a flavor point of view. Stygian Guard, the lands of the Stygian Guard look pretty calm, but we added a couple extra magic power to Mollusk Mage to ensure they remain the masters of the arcane. 10 magic power instead of 8 now. Not a big change, but nice to see nonetheless. Then Umbra has a big has some big changes. Because all the morsels were changed, literally all of them. Morsel. We have a Tumbra Morsel, 6 health, gains 6, gives 6 health to the Eater. Magma Morsel, 6 attack, gives 6 attack to the Eater. Both up from 4. Morsel Excavator gives 3 attack to the Eater instead of 2. Morsel Jeweler gives 3 health to the Eater instead of 1. And Morsel Miner +6/+6 instead of +5/+5. And Rubble Morsel, even Rubble Morsel, buffs the Eater now. Just +1/+1, but it makes them just much more useful. Other than that, I don't think there was much changed. Mostly the Ember Cache, which adds excavated embers to your draw pile, costs 1 now, and actually this is a big difference. Making of a morsel costs 1 now. That makes that card much more potent. Any morsel using build will be very happy about all these changes. And finally, Melting Remnant had buffs to Lady of the House and Waxen Spike, and Intent on Death changed to be Consume. But it went down to 1 cost. So let's bring up the new Intent on Death. It has now Consume. It is now 1 cost. You can still Consume remove it to get the old version back, but that costs you an upgrade slot, of course. So it's a strict nerf. Except there's a new clan who can make use of Consume. So if you have these clans together, it can instead be a buff. Lady of the House used to be 25/40, is now 35/45. Nice buff. Now really has some high stats for the requirements in cost and capacity. So it really pays off to build around that burnout. And finally, Waxen Spike is +4 attack per energy now, which is a slight buff from 3, but it's burnout 4 to friendly units. So you can actually extend burnout effectively with this. You can use it on non-burnout units with much less worry than before. Makes this card actually good, I think. Other than that, Covenant ranks have changed. We'll look at that in a bit. And the Shards of the Pyre event has a 3rd option that gives you a Strength Stone. Obviously, not too much going on there, because there are a lot of new events also. Let's have a look at the Covenant changes. 10 changed from units you place on the top floor are dazed for a turn, to instead apply Ember Terrain 1 to the first unit played on the top floor each turn. Boss power increased per shard, pack shard. That is new, that is a new mechanic, but that always used to be on Covenant 10 in the DLC. But yeah, the Ember Drain one very much changes how you approach this Covenant level. Yeah, Wax and Spike used to be quite hard to use beforehand. It was very much a payoff card for drafts or really burnout units if you had the amazing Ember generation that sometimes Melting Remnant could offer with some relics or cards. Then it used to be pretty decent, but you always needed to make sure that you can actually keep those burnout timers up, and that wasn't always easy. Mostly I used it with Little Fade with the Burn Bright path. With that it worked quite well. Yeah, so now on the top floor you have to pay an extra Ember for your units, if they stay around until the next turn. If you use Morsel, if you use Burnout 1, if you use units to jump block, the Ember Drain won't be around next turn. So there is some play around it possibility, much more than with the Dazed, which you could dispel, but you can do the same with Ember Drain, with like the Dispel Debuffs card from Melting Remnant. Resin removal. Yeah, very excited about this. And almost as important, Covenant rank 20. -1 capacity on the middle floor. It's fixed now. No more gambling and hoping, oh, please don't hit the top floor capacity, otherwise I'm in trouble. Nope, it will always be on the middle floor. If you want to build around the middle floor, keep in mind it will be small. If you want to build around the top floor, oh, sorry, I'm still a little bit sick, so it has to be expected. Yeah, if you want to build around the top floor, you better be prepared to deal with some Ember Drain, or just be prepared to play with less Ember. Sketches of Salvation still doesn't care, yeah. And like the mine, how was that artifact called again? Something with mine that gives you 2 capacity on the middle floor. I can cancel this out quite nicely. Anyways, I like these changes a lot because it makes Covenant 25 more plannable. You know which floors will be affected. You know what the effects are gonna be. Well, you used to know before, but it's great. I like the changes a lot.